Dr. Dave Rudiak is a research scientist who believes he has found the long-hoped-for smoking gun of the Roswell incident in a photograph that's been in the public record since 1947.
Even though I had believed that something very unusual had happened at Roswell, I was surprised at what I read in here. I wasn't expecting to see some of this stuff.
Rudiak has spent the last 2 years using computer imaging to analyze what Roswell researchers know as the RAMEY Memo.
First, there was the Roswell-based press release. About an hour after the press release, General Ramey was already speaking on the phone to reporters in the Pentagon press room and saying it looked like a weather balloon to him and a radar target, and that is in fact what is pictured here. So they brought in the photographer from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. He took 6 photos. 4 of the photos have General Ramey, and he's holding this message in his hand. In 3 of those photos, the message is turned away from the camera. In this particular photo, though, for some reason, it's facing the camera. And fortunately for us, the image is of sufficient quality that we can read quite a bit of the message. And it tells, I think, a very remarkable story.
During the GAO investigation, U.S. Air Force representatives claimed they tried to enhance this photo themselves. Their official conclusion was that even using state-of-the-art equipment, it was totally unreadable.
This is the memo the Air Force said that their high-level government organization photo analysis lab could not read anything on. And if we zoom in here, you can obviously make out some of the words quite easily. And everybody sees this here. This is, the 2 words here are weather balloons. These words are very important because it tells us that this is about Roswell, because Ramey's trying to sell a weather balloon story to the press. It's not his lunch order, it's not his laundry list, it's not Mrs. Ramey telling him to bring groceries home. All right?
Rudiak's inquiry began by focusing on the most readable key words and phrases.
Here's the word disk, and it's in quotes because there's a new use of the word, and they typically put the word disk in quotes. Another group of words that everybody sees are right here. It's Fort Worth, Texas.
Another key word was identified, both by Rudiak and other researchers who have analyzed the memo.
Up here is a key word that was picked out by the first group. They read this as victims up here. Here's a graphic of this keyword victims. These letters underneath are actual teletype font. I'm just assuming that we have these 4 letters. The question is how many words in the English language will fit that? And here they are. The only word that seems to fit is victims. So the word victims is critical because it's really the first documentary confirmation that there actually were casualties or bodies involved with Roswell. It's all been based on witness testimony up to this point.
Rudiak believes that by piecing together the most legible words and phrases, even the simplest reading of the Ramey Memo is incriminating.
Of course, if you have this phrase up here, which is in the first paragraph, says, and the victims of the wreck. If there were victims, this can't be explained by a balloon crash. This is one of 7 known photographs that was taken at Fort Worth Army Airfield on July 8, 1947. This is General Roger Ramey seated here. Next to him is his Chief of Staff, Colonel Thomas Dubose, who later said that this weather balloon that they had displayed was just a cover story that they used to get the press off their backs.
After 2 years of research, Dr. Rudiak believes he has interpreted the entire text of the memo in General Ramey's hand.
So here's the first paragraph. It reads, Fort Worth Army Airfield acknowledges that a disk, again in quotes, is the next new find west of the cordon. If I'm reading this correctly, they found the main disk west of the cordon, and General Ramey is confirming this. And then it goes into this phrase, and the victims of the wreck. you forwarded to possibly the team, some sort of team at Fort Worth, Texas. You have something in the disk, the aviators in the disk, they were going to ship them by a B-29 special transport, it's abbreviated as ST, or a C-47. I have about 80% confidence in what I have here. I think at least 80% of the words are correct here. I think even if people can test most of the words that I've come up with, that there's enough words that are clear enough, such as in the disk, victims of the wreck, that it puts the lie to the whole balloon explanation, and also to the Air Force's claim in 1994 that nothing could be read in this message.
3 weeks after the backhoe excavation, Bill Dolman returns to the dig site to examine